Hello and welcome in. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I don't know if we have any audio. Can you hear anything right now?
Nope.
What is going on with audio? Give me mouse. That is strange. There we go.
There we go.
That was the problem. All right, so we're really excited because we are just now coming on for the very first time. We do have a little bit of latency in the audio.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. But yeah, we're getting into a whole new field, a whole new thing that is completely new to both of us. I have been really excited about this for some time, and we've been talking about starting this podcast for probably a little over 2 years now.
I want to say 2 years.
Yeah, and the time frame. Hold on, give me this.
Working out the bugs in real time.
Yeah, always working out bugs in real time. We have so many different endeavors that we've done throughout the time, throughout the years, and this is the one thing I think that both of us have agreed on that we really wanted to do, like big time, right?
Yeah.
You have always kind of been into your music, your woodworking and stuff like that. For me, I'm more in the production side of things. I've always been really big into like photography, videography, editing, graphic design, stuff like that. And he has been more on the audio digital side of things, where he enjoys, things from more of a musical creative side of things. So neither one of us are going to have any audio right now. I have monitor off right now. So I guess just tell them about yourself a little bit. I mean, for years and years, you did work in the carpentry field, but you spent a little bit of time in the military. Like, just kind of start us off from the beginning on who you are, man.
Yeah, I did a little stint in the Navy after high school, or actually a few years after high school. Got out of the Navy, went into the workforce, ambled about a bit, didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Got into construction, had always kind of been into it. When I was a teenager, we built basically a new church at the church we attended, and a bunch of us teenage boys got to go learn a lot from some really good carpenters back then, and it was just something I was good at. So we went from there, and I learned so much back then. It was interesting to me that you get this instant gratification with woodwork because you assemble something and there it is. At the end of a day, you see what you did for the day, and I thought that was really cool. And semi made a career out of that. Did a lot of electrical work over the years. Got married, got divorced, like so many others. Was single for a long, long time, and then 7 years ago met my now wife, and we fell hard and got in love and got married after about a year, and that's been an amazing ride to be with, just like your person.
Kimber's amazing. Kimber is a really, really sweet woman, and I'm extremely, extremely happy that you two even met, because yeah, I guarantee it. But she's been a blessing to our family as well.
No, I don't mind saying to anybody, she's literally just one of the best people I've ever met. And my favorite human being. So that has been, I think I kind of had my life on the right track before we got together, but that really helps you.
Well, you definitely you definitely had some fallouts before her. Anyway, I'm Murdock, by the way, for those of you who do not know me. I kind of took a little bit of a different path in life. I spent a little bit more time in the military. I've been through divorces myself and have multiple kids. For me, the military was more of a lifestyle choice that I was really kind of go headfirst into, and I planned on making a lifetime career out of it, but just didn't happen. There were some things that took place while I was in the military that were a little bit more disheartening and kind of changed my outlook on the idea of doing 20. So after the military, I decided, you know what, it's time for me to come out and, try to do things in the civilian world. I went to film school almost immediately. Military paid for it. Well, the VA paid for it, yeah. So I went to film school, Carolina Film Institute. I did have a internship lined up with Happy Madison Productions. That fell through for reasons beyond my control, and it wasn't even their fault. It was on my side of things, but it was not my fault, kind of thing. And then I went into truck driving, but while I was driving trucks and going like over the road, and then eventually went local, I decided, you know what? I'm still going to film. I'm still going to do photography. So that's what I did. And then, years and years pass. I end up getting injured on the job, and that put me out of work for quite some time. I went back in for a very short amount of time, and my mind started messing with me, and I wasn't sure what it was, but we would come to find out it was because I had cancer. The cancer that I have is considered terminal, but God willing, and through His grace, I'll be able to overcome this thing. And if not, that's fine too. But yeah, before I came out of the driving field, that's when I met Jinx, and we've been happily married ever since. And man, I'm going to tell you. And I'm not just saying this because you're supposed to, okay? Your husband's supposed to say this. I'm saying this because it's 100% true. She is the absolute best thing that's ever happened to me. I mean, I've had some amazing things happen to me and happen for me in my life. And I don't know where I would be if it was not for her. So, yeah, I kind of share your thoughts on the spousehood, because it changed my life completely. For the better. So that is kind of us in a nutshell, okay? But that does not really explain some of the finer points. What are some of the passions that you have come to find in your life? I can kind of go into a little bit of detail on those things.
Yeah, I did a number of things, like I said, over the years. Carpentry was something that I always kind of came back to, and electrical work,
which I've helped you with. Intermittently.
I was doing more recently, until very recently.
Yeah.
I was doing a type of construction and remodeling for a living, and I do enjoy it. But at my age, your knees start to go south when you're doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Well, I mean, you're old too, so that doesn't help. So
thank you for that.
Yeah,
I'm appreciating that you pointed that out.
Much older than me.
So yeah, I told Kimber a couple years ago, hey, when we retire.
Speaking of Kimber, she's online listening.
I would imagine.
She said I'm on right now.
She bribed me to say nice things about her, so. What I was saying, hey, when we retire, one of the things we really love to do is hike.
Right.
And I said I would really like for us to do a lot of hiking when we both retire. Planning to retire the same year if possible, and I would really like to do it if possible on my factory knees.
Yeah.
So let me get out of this construction stuff and get into something a little more, not white collar, but something a little bit easier on
a little less blue collar, at least.
Yeah, that started a process of landing a really good job that I'm doing now. Unfortunately, I'm working nights at the moment. Literally just got off a 10-hour night shift.
And that is why we are doing this so early in the morning. This will be changing, however, so just bear with us for the time being, because after this month, we do plan on going on an evening schedule. So, yeah. Go into a little bit on some of your interests as far as hobbies and stuff, though. Because, I mean, granted, everybody knows that you enjoy doing woodworking, but is that your passion? Like, what And out of your passion, does that help you like with like your mentality, like helping kind of clear you up?
I mean, anybody that's creative in the way that we are,
Yeah.
you have to do something. You have to have an outlet. And for a long time, I didn't. I've always been into music. I mean, as a kid, you listen to whatever your parents listen to. You're just stuck with.
I think we actually have some photos of him with your first guitar, if I'm not mistaken.
I got.
This is back like, I think they had just discovered the bubonic plague when he got his first guitar. Was that's about the right time frame, right?
Relic from the Crusades.
So you're gonna go over to, well, I don't see it here, but you're gonna go over to Topher Photos.
There.
All right, now click on the little eyeball on the guitar thing. So this is a great photo, by the way.
Yeah, that is 1985.
Oh, that's beautiful.
No,
Look at that.
That is a great story. So I was getting into rock music. I
Right.
really finding the music that I liked. And of course, early and mid 80s, the hair metal scene was big.
Yeah, I could see that.
So I said, hey, I want to get a guitar. And my grandfather showed up one day with this. I didn't even know what it was at the time.
Is that a spider web on the guitar?
Is a spider web I did with detail tape. So of course you can see I play left-handed. I'm an idiot. I'm not left-handed technically, but from the time I was a little kid, I tried to play guitar that way, and I can't fathom doing it the other way, the regular way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I flipped it over, restrung it, had no idea what it was doing. So it was never intoned correctly. Of course, I would turn the volume off all the time because the volume knob's up there in the way. The strings were never set in correctly because I didn't know anything about filing the nut down to get the strings set. So it always had a terrible action, would go out of tune horribly. I had the cheapest amp in the world. It was an ancient little 20-watt amp that had one tone, and it was very mild distortion. And
so that was your break into music.
But here's the crazy thing. So Pop shows up one day with the amp and the guitar, and I had to go buy, everything else I needed. That guitar was a Hamer neck through body.
Give me mouse.
That was most likely $1,000 plus guitar. That was my first guitar. I had no idea what I had for about 3 or 4 years, and then I started looking at that, going, "Oh my God, that was a really expensive guitar." That I,
there we go. That should have fixed it.
As a teenager, that was originally, it was that bright red, Ferrari red.
Yeah.
I sanded it down. I painted it like 3 or 4 times.
Right.
I carved it up, trying to put a tremolo in it. I have no idea what happened to that guitar. There are 2 that I had that for the life of me couldn't tell you where they are.
So I think the second one is the one that you bought. Is that the first guitar that you bought for yourself?
Yeah, the first one I bought for myself. There was a little music store in the town where I worked.
Right.
It was next door to the town I'm from. A little shop called Poco Music and More, I think is what it was called. And they had these. That was I think Samick Guitars made those, and it was a Phantom Rocker and Slick model.
Oh gosh!
Basically a Super Stratocaster.
Look at that hair.
I'm talking about the guitar.
You're talking about the guitar.
So that was probably 87. That was right after high school.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And again, I have no idea where that guitar ended up. I don't have any recollection of what happened to it while.
Well, fortunately, we don't want to where that hair went either. So.
No, I still have it.
No, it's different now.
I have the bulk of it.
It's not quite as poofed.
Yeah, I don't. Do they even make Aquanet anymore?
I don't think so. Oh, she says they do.
Well, that's the thing for that. It was the 80s.
All right, so from there, so she says that your mic was echoing just a little bit. So we can fix that if it's something that bothers you guys. We can fix it. It's just our way of being able to monitor ourselves. But if you would like it better without that sound. We could probably clear it up a little bit for you guys. Let me do this. All right, mouse is yours again. So from there, yeah, I think we fixed it. From there, tell me a little bit about going from there into some of the other passions that you kind of went into, and show some more pictures of old Topher. And if
Okay.
oh my gosh, that's fire.
Yeah, that was senior year of high school.
Uh-huh.
That was my ride.
Did that fix the issue, by the way, guys?
The one car I really regret selling. Sold that to a lady, and her and her husband took that thing down, full frame off restoration, knew everything. And she had it from 1986 until maybe 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So I would see it around town. They changed the color; it was blue, but that was that was a ride. That was a fun car.
It looks nice. It's clean.
I'm not going to tell you what I paid for it. And the good Lord knows how much it's worth now.
Okay, so now we're getting into some of our other interests. Both of us are very outdoorsy people.
Yeah, and it's fun. I mean, as a kid, you fish a little bit, and I think my dad used to take us a little bit when we were really young, and then kind of got out of it for a while. Got back into it in my 20s a little bit, but never seriously. And then about 2009, my cousin was really, he had gotten into fly fishing big time. And I'd come back from a work trip and we were talking. I was like, I need to get back into fishing. So he got me hooked on fishing again. Started buying some decent stuff. And he and one of my other good friends had been doing some trips while I was away.
Right.
Had been doing some deep sea trips. So I started going on those.
And that's a grouper.
That is a monster grouper. That was fun, and man, that thing was delicious.
You definitely didn't fly fish that guy.
No, we were doing every year for about 7 or 8 years. We were doing a deep sea trip out of Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, dude, we need to go and do that sometime very soon.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, I've been deep sea fishing before. I don't have any photos of that right now, but I've got some really great photos from my deep sea fishing. Can you do me a favor and turn his mic up? Actually, hold on. I can probably do it from here. Hold on. Give me that, and we're gonna bring you up about 20%. They said that you're too soft spoken. All right, that should have fixed you there. You have mouse again. So outdoors, and clearly also a motorcycle enthusiast, as well as am I.
Yeah, not for a while now, but yeah, for a number of years there.
You know, your brother actually was one who taught me how to ride.
Yeah. I bought one. I bought my first motorcycle. My grandparents would not let me near a motorcycle. My grandmother was, God rest her soul, wonderful lady, scared to death if anything happened to us. So she tried her best to make sure we were terrified of water and anything on two wheels.
Good.
And so I think it was after I got out of the Navy, I bought my first motorcycle and never ridden a motorcycle except for a few dirt bikes, and bought whatever the Honda was at the time. I think it was a Honda Shadow. Brought it home.
Somebody said it sounds like your mic is off. Are you showing audio over there?
I am showing audio.
Well, somebody said that it sounds like Topher's mic is off. And it says that I'm hot. Let me do this real quick. I don't know what's going on. We're having all kinds of issues today. All right.
Okay. I can hear me fine.
Give me this. All right. No, so
it looks really good on our end. Actually,
it looks great on this end.
Maybe it's just that he's really quiet.
Yeah, but I'm pushing.
Well, I did turn you up a little bit, so I don't know exactly why you're having such an issue here. It's showing that you're going fine.
Yep. I'm just gonna keep talking through this.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, a few Harleys, a few Hondas over the years. No, where I was going with that was my brother Michael that taught you to ride dropped my brand new motorcycle the day I brought it home.
Ooh.
First thing, didn't hurt it, but he was riding through the grass. But that was the last time I let him ride that motorcycle. First and last.
Give me mouse. There we go.
Yeah, but I haven't had a bike for. Well, actually, that photo that was the last motorcycle I owned, which would have been like 2010, 2012. I'm not positive, but it may be because I keep turning my head that the mic's having issues.
Oh, I know what they're having. Okay, there we go. That should fix the issue with the reverb.
Okay.
There we go.
That is a little bit better on mine.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yeah, they're saying it's sounding better now, so we're good. All right, so your motorcycle endeavors were short-lived. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I did it for up until 2010. So
I don't remember ever seeing you on a motorcycle. I remember actually when I was much younger. What you guys don't realize is that Topher and myself have known each other all my life, technically, but we didn't really start hanging out until about 5 years ago.
Well,
no, that was a little bit longer than because we started writing with one another.
Yeah, and that would have been like 2010, 2011. I had a motorcycle then.
I don't remember ever seeing you on a motorcycle.
Well, I mean,
I remember plenty over at Papa, like at Papa's place. I remember like when I was much younger, seeing you come up like to family events on one from time to time, but it's not something that I remember like on the front of things.
Yeah, I mean, I rode a lot for a number of years, and especially with one really good friend of mine, my buddy Dutch. He and I we rode a lot. His dad rode with us.
Right.
We put a lot of miles. We did a couple of beach trips where we would ride the motorcycles down to the coast. Those were really fun trips. But yeah, when I sold that last Honda, I had other interests, and I was really at that point. I was really trying to get back into music. Or well, there was some stuff going on there because I had about 2008. I was writing a lot and recording a lot of.
Can you take that off the screen for us?
We'll come back.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
So yeah, I was. Someone broke into the place I was living and stole all everything. I had a bass guitar, a really nice acoustic, a couple of decent electrics. Took it all, and that really, I couldn't file insurance. So that really took the wind out of my sails on music for a long time. I think it was about 5 years before I bought another acoustic. And then now I've got a couple of electrics. So I'm slowly really getting back into getting set up to record some music, but it's taken a long time.
Well, I've actually produced some of your music for you. I will post stream. I'll post a couple of links in the description and on our Facebook page and stuff like that for Topher Pace Music, right?
Yeah.
Or just Topher Music now? I don't remember. Okay.
Forward, but
well, so something else that you get into, and you can bring that picture back up now, is you like we established, you're avid outdoorsman. What does that do for you? Like,
so that trip was, I don't know, maybe 2011-ish. That was one of my like really cold winter hikes, and that was in upstate South Carolina. I believe that was on Caesar's Head. And there were, I remember that winter in particular, it was a very cold winter, and I did a lot of winter hikes like that, and that was just, I'd always been into hiking. I did it when I was a teenager. My first wife and I hiked a good bit. There's a mountain here in the upstate of South Carolina, Table Rock State Park, and the main trail is about 3.5 miles up, and I believe I've hiked that over 100 times, at least, in my life. There were years that another buddy of mine, we were hiking a lot, and we would hike it 20 times a year. I mean, every week and I'm getting a real bad latency.
Okay, I'll fix it up.
We're gonna iron
Give me,
these bugs out.
give me a mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, the program causes a little bit of a latency issue, audio wise. Sometimes it'll be perfectly in sync, and then from time to time, we'll hear just the faintest little, and then it just goes haywire. But yeah, so and I have a quick and easy way for us to fix it, but like it's still a pain in the butt. So back to what we're saying, or what you were saying.
Yeah, so just hiking's always been something I've really enjoyed doing. You get out there, and especially if it's a hard hike,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you have to just focus on what you're doing.
Well,
You can't go too many places. You really just need to focus on.
yeah,
I have to do this thing.
for me, I like to go hiking because of the fact that it clears my mind.
Yeah, that you get that singular focus on. Hey, I just got to take the next step and look at where I'm going, and that's everything you're doing at times.
Right.
So those really intense hikes are really good.
Yeah.
And I haven't done them like that because when Kimber and I hike, we're trying to take an easy path somewhere. Usually, we're engaged with each other. We're talking.
Yeah.
We're having a great time. We're enjoying nature. But those hikes like that were very intense. And there was one I did actually that same winter. I think I might have a couple of pics from it. But anyway, they call it the Dismal Trail. You start out on top of the mountain, you dive off down, cross the river, and then have to come back up out.
Right.
It's brutal. I mean, it has to be one of the toughest hikes in South Carolina. And I did it when it was something like 11 degrees outside in winter. But had a blast. I was the only person out there the entire day. It was like a 4 or 5 hour hike. Didn't see another soul. It was great. So yeah, so Kimber and I, I just got off working some weekends, so now we have our weekends free, and we're gonna start getting, as soon as it cools off a little bit. We're having a brutal summer.
Yeah, this summer's been absolutely terrible.
So we're trying to get some walks in, some light hikes in, really early in the morning.
I know that I've done a lot of videos, and like I have a YouTube channel called well, technically it's our channel now. It's called The Grand Life Adventure Outdoor Living, and it's our outdoor living styles, and we kind of share the channel, like I said, and on there, all the different hikes that he goes to, if he finds one that he really likes, we post a video on there for you guys, with a recommendation telling you a little bit about the trail and stuff like that. And I think you should go check that out. It's TGLA Outdoor Living. We do need to start uploading to that YouTube channel again because but it's just been so hot.
Well, yeah. Once we get through August, maybe September, we can start getting some more hikes done.
Yeah. So I know that you're also an avid hunter.
Yes.
At one point in time, you had dropped a decent sized bear. Is that bear? Is this the same one that is in your living room right now?
Yes, that was a 315-pound South Carolina black bear. That was an amazing time. And wow, I know black bear meat is not the favorite of a lot of people.
I love it.
I think it's amazing. It's maybe my favorite meat. It's special.
It's definitely it's an acquired taste for sure. It's definitely not for everybody, but how does from being an outdoorsman and and going hunting, like what does hunting do for you? Like is it just something that you enjoy doing, or is it something that you just kind of like find peace in? Like,
I think it's a little of both. It's a little of a lot of things. I think for me, I mean, you got it. I don't 4 o'clock in the morning unless there's fishing or hunting involved. But yeah, I mean, you're getting up ridiculously early. You're going out in the middle of nowhere often. We're fortunate to have a few pieces of private land we get to hunt, so we're not worried about other people interloping on where we're at. We have permanent stands set up.
Right.
Yeah, but you just get out there, you get in your stand, and I like to be out. I like to be where I'm going to hunt at least an hour before sunrise or daylight,
Right.
So you're there about 30 minutes before first light, and the world's waking up around you. It's very cool. If you've never
I've been there. It's tranquil. Like it's almost spiritual in a way. Being able to witness like everything just slowly waking up. You start hearing some birds. You start hearing the squirrels start waking up and scampering across the. And it's almost surreal.
And there's a clockwork involved, so okay, I'm starting to hear these birds. You know about how far it is until daylight, because I mean, if your eyes are closed, you know, okay, these birds are going off now. You got this many minutes. They know when they're supposed to be up and moving around. The squirrels are going now.
Right.
You feel that. It's a unique thing to be out there, and that's a good time to just sit and talk to God too, because put your phone away. Literally, there was a day deer hunting. It's been a good many years ago, probably 12 years ago. I had my phone sitting on the stand next to me. It was something like 14 degrees outside, and my phone froze. It finally just said, "I'm shutting down. It's too cold out here." But hey, maybe that's a good thing. We don't need to be sitting there texting this.
No.
We need to be looking around, because I can't tell you how many times as a hunter I've been sitting in a stand. It's like, okay, I'm bored. Nothing's happening. Let me get my phone out, text a little bit, see who's up with it. There's a deer right there, staring at me, because I wasn't paying attention to what I'm doing. A number of times, and I'm sure other hunters can tell you that same story. It's like it's really not worth having it out there, but sometimes it's cool to get pictures.
So basically, what you're saying, and this is what I'm picking up. Tell me if I'm picking up what you're putting down here. It's more of a spiritual thing in most instances than it is going out to actually down something. So, like, if you get skunked, it's not something that really bothers you.
An amazing time. I mean, you can go 5 times and not even see anything that you're deer hunting. You don't even see a deer, and you do it 4 or 5 times in a row. But that's its own reward of just sitting there. At least a couple days a year, I try to go sit all day.
Right.
From literally an hour before the sun comes up until the last light's fading. And those are great days. Phenomenal days. And again, try to keep your phone out of the way and just be in nature.
I think that's something that affects most of us nowadays, is everybody. I mean, we're currently sitting here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of electronics in front of us. We got 2, 3 iPhones, we got 2 iPads, and a MacBook, and of course 2 computers, or 2 PCs. And I think that's something that really separates us from our spirituality in a lot of ways, because we focus so much on things that aren't faith. I use the word faith because I realize that not all of us are religious. Not all of us have, believe that, there is one divine entity. As for us, we are. And if you don't share that same idea, that's perfectly fine. We're not going to judge you for that. But I think all of us have faith in something. And being able to kind of rely on that faith a little bit, I think, is extremely, extremely important, because that is where we can go to find peace. For you find that peace with God and in the woods, or on a hiking trail, or with Kimber. Which, by the way, we have a photo of you with Kimber, so let's bring up the queen herself here. There she is.
Our Wyoming trip.
Yeah. Look at that beard. ZZ topping it, man.
Yeah, I did that that's probably 2 years worth of beard growth. I did that I had a significant beard for probably about 10 years. And just recently, after my mom passed away, I shaved it 2 years ago. But I got a lot of compliments on that beard.
Now,
good beard.
So this trip to Wyoming, tell us a little bit about us, and tell us just a little bit, touch on Kimber, and
Yeah, that was our 3rd anniversary.
Nice.
We had planned it for a good while. Drove out there, took our Subaru out there. I had COVID the week before. I came down with COVID the Saturday before we left. So we left the following Friday. So I went through I'm stuck at home for a while. I should be clear. And then that Friday we packed up the car and headed to Wyoming, and drove for 2 days. Drove into Jackson Hole. I don't know, it's like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Driving snow. The funny thing is, late October, we're going into Wyoming. and it was snowing when we drove into Jackson Hole. Got to the place we were staying. We stayed there 4 days or 4 nights. It snowed every day. And we would be out talking to people, and they're like, "This is so weird because we don't get snow till November.
Right.
We don't get snow in October." And it literally snowed every day we were there.
Is that the trip?
We went.
Is that the trip that you borrowed, I think, a lens from me?
I bought that lens. Yeah, you gave me that telephoto lens.
Yeah.
I was not smart enough to get you to show me how to use it correctly. So, yeah,
you got some good shots though while you were out there.
A few really good ones, but there were some moose right outside Grand Tetons National Park. Well, we were in the national park, pulled off the road. It was one of those. I might have been the first morning we were there. I do have one great picture. I should have sent it to you for this of 2 bull moose sparring.
Okay.
First daylight breaking over the mountains. It's stunning.
I remember that because you sent all those photos over to me to edit for you.
Yeah, but all the ones that were overexposed. There was one moose picture that would have been phenomenal. This giant bull moose with snow in his antlers, and the shot overexposed because I didn't know how to change the settings.
Yeah.
I'll take a lesson before we go out there again.
Well, I do free lessons, so and that's something that I've always believed in. And we're going to shift gears just a little bit. We're going to get into kind of like who I am, and some of the things that I enjoy as well. And we do still have some photos of you, but we're going to get into one photo in particular here in just a little bit. As of right now, though, so for me, as I mentioned before, I edited a photo for him. Or multiple photos. Pretty much any photo that you ever need edited or video that you need edited, you send to me. And I don't know why I got so involved with doing videography and photography and stuff like that, but I know that it sparked from my military career. So we're going to start there. When I joined the military, it was in 2006, and my drill sergeant Burrow, he was my senior drill. And he was this rock steady stud. Okay. As a matter of fact, we have a photo, and he was the literal cardboard cutout for the Army Rangers. This is him that you see on the screen right now. Okay. When I first met this guy, okay, I had just gotten off the bus. Oh, I was getting off the bus, I should say. So when you get to basic training, and I went through Fort Jackson. Everybody calls it relaxing Jackson. Well, I can tell you that was not the case. Look at this guy. Those are some dead eyes, bro. Like, he's seen some things. Okay. And yes, he was Airborne Ranger, infantry, and just like this very like serious minded. I maybe saw him smile maybe once, if it was even a smile. And I believe that it was while someone was getting smoked. Okay, so first time I meet this guy, we had just got done with like the maps and like integration, and we were just getting to our barracks. And once the bus pulls up, you got a bunch of lines that they file all the soldiers off of the bus, and once they file you off the bus, they're separating you. Every single person that comes off the bus, they're like, you there, you there, you there. And when they were doing that, they were separating you between 4 different platoons. Okay. And it was completely randomized. Whoever came off got this way, this way, this way, this way. Okay. So that it was evenly distributed throughout the entire company. As I haven't even fully made the turn from the walkway and the bus to the steps yet, and I see Drill Sergeant Burrows out of the corner of my eye. It doesn't strike me as odd or anything like that because they're already moving back and forth. But this big tall guy comes walking up. He's hard to miss. And as I start coming down the stairs, he's already pointing at me. He says, "This one's mine." I'm like, nobody's calling soldiers for themselves at this point in time. And my heart just went straight to my throat. I had no idea what I had done wrong. I go and stand at the position of attention with all my bags and everything on me. I'm all like full of all of my gear and whatnot, trying to stand at the position of attention the best way that I can. And good morning, by the way, Cheryl. So he comes walking up to me about 3 to 5 minutes after I'm, standing at the position of attention with all this gear. He says, "What's wrong with your uniform, Private?" And in my mind, the position of attention means eyes and head straight forward at all times. And I said, I don't know, Drill Sergeant. He says, "Well, you can't very well know if you don't look, can you?" I said, "Roger, Drill Sergeant." So I'm like doing my best to look around to see what's going on. Mind you, I have a lot of gear on me. And I just don't have a clue. He says, "Your canteen is unsecure." I said, "What?" I'm looking, and it looks secure to me. There's two little flaps that come down on either side of the canteen, and both of them are down. And then I notice that one's just slightly up a little bit. This guy sees my canteen through all of my gear is just ever so slightly up, and it was not snapped completely. That's why he called me before I'm even off the bus.
You know what? I feel like you deserve whatever you got coming here.
Okay, so maybe I did. I don't know. I was a good soldier in basic. The rest of my military career, I can't count for, but at least in basic, I was. And so he tells me to take out my canteen and drop my gear. Okay, this is while everybody else is still getting put into their platoons. We go over to the PT field. He walks me over to the PT field. He says, "Take out your canteen, and you see this field right here? I want you to throw it as hard as you can into that field." All right. No, he says, "I want you to throw it into the field." Okay. He doesn't say as hard as you can yet. So I just take it out and I chunk it out there. He said, No. Go get it. Go get it. Bring it back. Go. I go grab it. I bring it back. He says, "Now imagine that you're in a really, really big football game and you got to throw the winning pass, right?" He says, "I want you to throw that thing like your life depends on it." I says, "Okay." So I threw it. I've never seen somebody spiral a canteen until that day, but I'm talking about it went, okay? And he says, "All right, now I want you to go get it." So I started walking. He said, No, stop, come back. He says, "I want you to iron Mike to it. Grab it, and then iron Mike back with it." Collectively, I did that 5 times. That thing went halfway across the PT field each time. Well, gradually got shorter and shorter in distance, but you get where I'm going. All right, so from there, I get through basic training, and my drill sergeants and I, by the time I'm done, I don't want to say like besties or anything like that, but we had a profound respect for one another. They had a profound respect for me and I for them. And we'll get into that in a later episode. But I got stationed my first duty station, and that is exactly when I picked up my first camera and I started making my first videos and photos, and it changed my life because I from that point on, I made videos for each one of my units that I was ever in. Every single unit that I was in, I made a video. For every single deployment that I was on, I had my camera on me. That's why I have so many photos of myself downrange in both Iraq and Afghanistan. I made documentaries in each country, Iraq and Afghanistan. But we're going to Iraq, and I have some photos up here. I think we'll be seeing some here soon of me in Iraq, and you could just kind of flash through the ones of me in Iraq as we're going. I can talk on them or whatever. But yeah, so this is in Iraq. This is actually just before a mortar attack. We were in a little fob. I can talk about it now. It was a little blackout fob called Fob Kalsu. I was with the 3rd Infantry Division at this point in time, and I was a little jacked up. I'm not gonna lie. When I was in the military, I was a little jacked up. But in fairness, a lot of my high ups were more jacked up than I was, and we'll get into that in a different. And yeah, some truths are going to come out on this podcast, and we're just going to point that out. So this is almost immediately after we got into Iraq, right here. Look how handsome I was. Oh my gosh.
Wait, are we looking at the same photo?
Yeah. No, I think it's your old eyes getting to you. I think is that what that is. You can flash through some more if you want to, but so Iraq was 0709, OIF 0709, and we were supply and support. I was actually on gun truck while I was technically a fueler by trade, but I ran gun truck when I was in Iraq for the majority of the time that we were out there. This is a little patrol base that we were setting up. We were pulling security, of course, and there was HESCO barriers. I don't know if you know what a HESCO barrier is, but basically they're really, really big bags full of sand and rocks that, keep snipers and stuff kind of from being able to shoot into the installation of this. And again, this is just before another mortar attack. I have a photo. I don't have it in there right now, but I have a photo where you can actually see black smoke pluming up. And it was ridiculously crazy. You're going to have to shut that one off there. This is actually in Afghanistan. So Iraq went just about as well as you can expect Iraq to go. We actually had a fairly tame deployment in Iraq. And then as soon as I got out of Iraq, they stationed me in Alaska, which was a really great transition, going from that heat to the cold of Alaska. And then with USARAC, or the U.S. Army Alaska, we deployed to Afghanistan. This is in Afghanistan on a mission. I can't remember exactly where we were going, but I do remember that the locals were not exactly being nice to us. And you can see that I'm slightly frustrated in this photo. And like I said, I continued filming through all of this, and that's why I have cameras with me at all times whenever I was out. And fortunately for me, I didn't have to worry about OPSEC too much because I knew the rules and I knew what I could and couldn't photograph or video. And as a matter of fact, for the filming productions that I did while I was there, I actually had explicit permission from my higher ups to be able to do those things. And I was interviewing like lieutenant colonels, full bird colonels, and I think I even have one general in one of my videos. This is in Afghanistan. Again, this is a place called Airborne. This is the beginning of what would end up being the most ridiculous mission I ever went on. You see in the back there, with my hand, I'll point right here. There's a fuel truck. You'll see it looks like a tanker. There's actually two of them, one right behind the other one. And this mission right here was absolutely screwed up. I'll go into more detail on that later. But I found a way to find solace, find peace when I was downrange. Pull that picture back up for me, just real quick. I also enjoy nature, and this is as close as I could really get to nature when I was downrange. Nice. Those mountains were all around us. We were kind of like in a little bowl there. But this is, staging for a mission. We always had about an hour and a half before a mission to stage up and get everything ready. And after I was done, which it didn't take me long, I get up on the back of one of these LMTVs and just chill out and just enjoy the scenery. There wasn't great scenery, but there was some decent scenery. All right, you can go ahead and go forward now. But, the military, it was a love-hate relationship, for sure. There were some situations where I absolutely, enjoyed everything about it. But other times, that was Third ID. That's right. That's where you're stationed at. We were Fort Stewart. I don't know if you're in Stewart right now or not. Okay. Yeah. So, we, my chain of command in Iraq, like I said, was kind of bullish, right? And that's putting it mildly. When I was in Afghanistan, though, when I was in USARAC, my chain of command got so much better. The chain of command when I was in 3rd Infantry Division was subpar at best, and the biggest reason that I didn't come out as a higher rank than I was when I got to Alaska, though, my Sergeant Major Jeffries, he was actually an amazing dude. He was actually from South Carolina, Charleston, as a matter of fact, I believe it was, and he was rooting for me. He rooted for me the whole time, and knowing that I had somebody of his stature and my NCOs, my first line supervisors and stuff like that, rooting for us as much as they were, that changed my mindset a good bit, but it wasn't enough to mend the scars that I had achieved, I guess I'll say, when I was in the 3rd Infantry Division. Not to say that all of 3rd Infantry Division is this way. Okay, I'm definitely not saying that, because there's definitely good NCOs and good officers and good warrant officers. in the third infantry division, but in my personal case, in my instance, I just had some that were just completely ate up. Not all of them. We did have some good NCOs, but there were a couple that stood out above the rest that were not so great. But after I get out of the military, like I said, I went to film school finally, and I was really excited about getting into that a little bit more. While I was going to film school, I was working 2 different jobs. I was running for FedEx at this point in time, and running deliveries for a liquor store to all the local restaurants and stuff like that. And I was going to school at the same time, but I had to focus more on school, so I had to quit my job at the liquor store and focus more on my job over at FedEx. And then that time started eating me up a lot, and so the craziest thing happened. Brad Hoover, who was my instructor there, he actually let me do most of my stuff at home. Like, he would give me projects and stuff like that at home, and I actually graduated top of my class from not even really having to attend school. So that was a plus. And then, like you, I am also an avid outdoorsman. I enjoy hunting, not as much as you, but I have done some hunting in the past. I have a photo of me with some hogs that I took. There was 8 hogs altogether in that photo that I took. I was actually with my stepson that night. And that was an amazing time. And that was the biggest hunt that I had ever, or biggest haul of hogs, because there is no bag limit on hogs.
What should there be?
No, there definitely shouldn't. Same with coyotes. But yeah, we took those, and that was, like I said, I've never taken a deer, never taken a bear. I've taken a turkey once, and hogs, lots of hogs. But hunting is not necessarily, you can bring that down. Hunting is not necessarily my forte. I love to hike and camp. And I love photography. So that's when I decided to combine the two, and that's when I started the YouTube channel, The Grand Life Adventure.
Right.
But that kind of didn't go the way that I was really wanting it to, so I started TGLA, The Grand Life Adventure Outdoor Living, which was definitely more my speed, because I've always enjoyed like the whole idea of like the prepping and surviving off the land, foraging for wild vegetables and stuff like that. And that, for me, is where I find the most peace. Okay, because you're nitty gritty whenever you're doing survival style camping, and that, I feel like, whenever you're the only thing separating you from the ground while you're sleeping is maybe a mat or a pile of leaves or something like that, you get as close to nature as you possibly can. And you feel a lot more vulnerable when you do it that way too, as opposed to being out in like a camper or in a campsite. You're just going out off the grid into the woods and finding yourself a piece of literal wild real estate to habitate. What's the word I'm looking for? Inhabit. And that to me, that's this as close as you can get to nature. And for me, that is my church. I still go to church, but like that is what I consider my number one church, because that's where I can actually get really kind of disconnected from literally everything else. The only thing that I would bring out there with me is my camera and my gear, and I just live in that moment. And for me, that helped me clear my mind. It helped me spiritually. It helped me feel better about myself. It gave me a better sense of self-worth, because I actually felt like I was doing something that could help others, because not only was I being able to do this, but I was also able to, give information on how to survive if it came to the potential of you finding yourself in a survival situation. Right. Potentially life-saving information. And I think that that's something that is absolutely necessary. You never know when you're going to find yourself in a survival situation, ever. I mean, everybody's very, very comfortable in their day-to-day lives.
Well, let's be honest. Every guy, has these, hey, what if the world ends and everything goes to crap and there's a zombie apocalypse and
Yeah.
all kind of wonder. We kind of wouldn't mind if it happened.
No, we wouldn't. But
it's the ultimate test of your mettle.
But and that's an extreme version of survival. But in a more practical sense, if you are taking a trip out to Wyoming, there's some long stretches of road through.
100%. Every ridiculous story you've ever heard about Nebraska is absolutely true.
Yeah,
it's cornfields for hundreds of miles.
No, absolutely.
And nothing else.
But you go out to Wyoming, you go out to Maine, you go out to certain parts of Oregon or Washington. You find yourself in some really desolate areas surrounded by forest or prairies or whatever the case is, and there's sometimes in some instances it's a very long ways from stop to stop, and if you were to break down in the middle of winter, how are you going to prepare for that? How are you mentally going to prepare for that? How are you going to physically prepare for it? And will you be able to get yourself out of that situation or sustain yourself through that situation until you can find help or someone finds you? And those are the kinds of things that, people don't typically plan for quite well.
No, I mean, there's, bug out bags were all the rage for a while, but then also there's what they call a get home bag. It's something you ought to have with you. I mean, we are not that extreme, but when we go somewhere, especially when we're going to be going out of state or anything like that, we've got more than your basic stuff. And I think most people don't. Most people just don't think about it because of the infrastructure of the United States of America.
Exactly. People have become complacent to their comfort.
Yeah. But it doesn't take much for stuff to break down.
No.
We saw that with the hurricane we had that came through here a year ago.
Matter of fact, here's one prime example. There's some individuals right now in Alaska and Hawaii that are facing some very serious, potential weather, like inclement weather that may cause some really bad situations for them. And what are they going to do? Yeah. You can't always depend on the government. As a matter of fact, the wildfires in Hawaii are a prime example of that.
I think the government has proven. What was it, Reagan that said, can't think of the quote exactly. The most terrifying words are, "I'm here from the government. I'm here to help." Yeah.
So that's and that's why I started the channel is to educate people and stuff like that. So it gave me a sense of purpose, but it also gave me a sense of hope and spirituality. So that's kind of like a nutshell on me. But
and you are a nut.
You're absolutely right. Now I have some more photos. I don't know which ones we have on there. I could tell you about my inspiration for joining the military. The reason that I wanted to join the military is because of my grandfather, who was another stud. This is my grandfather here. His name was Jerry, and he is the whole reason that I decided to join. It wasn't for honor or glory or anything like that. It was to continue a legacy. My father did not serve, but my uncle did. And you can go and just kind of go through some more of those photos of him. He was actually in World War II. He was killed in Vietnam. And I thought that, I never met him, never met my grandmother, but that was the prime reason for me joining the military. I did want to knock that out.
Boy, it's been a long time since you told me that. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And then to further, go into my point with the photography thing, if you go back over to his photos, there's a picture of him with a shotgun. I like to better myself with my photography and my videography. So sometimes I'll be like, hey, Topher, or any of my friends will be like, I want to set up a photo shoot or something like that. And most of the time they oblige. And this is one of those instances. I think it's that was a really good photo shoot. I think I actually got some with Kimberly that day too.
Blow dried my beard that day.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So let me fix it. I was like, I think that was the first time she'd ever done that.
That's fantastic.
They call it a blowout.
Oh my goodness.
Let me do it. So
Yeah.
That day.
Yeah. It's definitely
beard day.
Fluffy. That's a gorgeous beard right there. Anyway, so why are we telling you all this stuff about ourselves? And why did we go into some of our spirituality? Well, that's because that is the purpose of this podcast. Not to talk about us, but to talk about things that matter. things that, things that people do to clear the fog in your mind, in your soul, in your day-to-day life. What can we do to better ourselves, to prevent ourselves from falling into a hole that is otherwise extremely difficult to find our way back out of? For a lot of people, the answer is going to be different. Some people are going to rely more on spirituality, God, or Allah, or Buddha, or whomever they go to on a religious stance, or on a more spiritual stance. It could be nature through Wicca, or whatever the situation is. Some people are pastors, some people are hunters, some people are photographers, or whatever the case is. And those individual personality traits or hobbies or whatever are what people turn to help clear their mind and help clear their own being. And that's the things that we want to discover, that we want to understand what makes people tick, but also makes people feel more clear. Meditate? Yeah, that's another good one. Yeah, it's meditation. What do people do in their day-to-day lives? The things that they enjoy that help clear their fog, and that's the purpose of this whole thing. And we do have loads of individuals who we have already gotten that want to come on and discuss with us and with you guys and share with us what it is that they do to help clear their fog.
Right.
So I know that you got a couple of individuals that you've already got in touch with.
Yes.
Personally, I have like wrestlers and some more photographers, actors, musicians, singer-songwriters,
A couple of
pastors, firefighters, like loads and loads of people, and a lot of people who are just hobbyists. Like I have one individual who does Gundam or Gunpla, which is where it's an anime, and Gundam is an anime. Gunpla is building the characters from those anime through like little model sets. That's one hobby, but that's a way that this individual kind of clears their fog. Another individual that I have is a wrestler. He's a amateur wrestler and an amazing guy, and he gets into it, man. And that's what you need to be able to do to be able to clear your fog and keep your mind at peace.
Exactly.
And that's what we plan on doing with this podcast. And hopefully you guys will be here to, explore these things with us. Excuse me.
There's no excuse for you.
Trust me, I know. Yeah. So in closing, what are some of your thoughts on where we would like to take the podcast from here?
Well, I think the podcast is going to go where it goes to an extent. We have a handful of guests lined up for sure,
right?
Concrete dates, and then we've got a number of other people that we're in talks with about, hey, when can you come on? You guys are going to kind of dictate that to some extent.
No, for sure.
What are you guys? What feedback are we getting?
Yeah.
What are you guys finding interesting? Who is it that we're talking to that you're really engaged about?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that we're talking about that you're engaged about? And I think that's really what's going to drive the direction we go. Again, I think we have 4 guests lined up.
Yeah, four hard dates, but we have a ton of other individuals. Actually, one individual that wants to come on, he actually reached out to me and told me that he wanted to come on because he went through some situations similar to some things that I went through in my life, and through that he struggled with thoughts of suicide, which I think is something that's really important to cover on this podcast, is mental health, especially in men. Not that women aren't important, it's just that men are much less likely to talk about the things that are bothering them. And I think that that's something that is extremely important, because they feel like and this is, I'm not trying to, categorize all men, like lump all men in with this, but for the most part, I believe that most men feel like if they talk about their feelings, that they're going to be judged or that they're going to be made fun of or whatever the situation is. But the reality of it is I would much rather somebody think of me of being a, pardon the expression, a poo boy and talk about my feelings and get the stuff off my chest than something greater taking place and me dwelling on something and just, doing the typical guy thing of just swallowing my feelings and keeping it on my chest. That's not healthy. And I can tell you from experience, that is not healthy. As somebody who's actually currently, technically dying from cancer, I can tell you your feelings can get the best of you. And, would it be easier just to save the cancer, the hardship? But if I do that, then that changes a lot of things, and not just for me, because this is a situation where, yes, this is a very serious problem that I have, but that's a very permanent problem to what could possibly be a temporary problem.
Yeah, we don't know.
And we do not know. And me as a religious individual,
speaking for me, and I think I speak for both of us, we believe in miracles.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also, there's medicine. There's alternative medicine. There's where I was going to go with this, leading into that was we don't know where this show is going to go.
Right.
We want to kind of keep it lighthearted. We're both pretty sarcastic guys.
What? No.
You're going to get a little of it down the road of just the hard time we give each other. We're like brothers in a lot of ways. And we want to keep it lighthearted, but also we don't want to be afraid to tackle something like a man's mental health or more than depression, sickness, anything. I mean, we want to bring in artists. We want to bring in musicians. We want to look at the beauty of life.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Not be afraid to tackle. Hey, if there's a weird political thing.
It's hard not to cover one topic without grazing over the other, though. Like with every pro, there's a con.
Everything's nuanced.
Yeah, exactly. So, we have to cover all the bases here, and we want to make sure that what you are getting from us is truthful, maybe sometimes witty, definitely entertaining for you guys. And if you feel like there's anything that we might be able to change that could better our situation here, please let us know. We have we have our social media. You can reach out to us on any of our social media platforms, whether it be Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, or Threads. And then you can email us as well. I don't have an email on there for us, but it is officiallighthousepodcast@gmail.com. And you can reach out to us, and you can do that also and reach us on any of those social media accounts if you would like to potentially be on the podcast and talk about the things that you do to clear your mind and your thoughts and your fog from daily life. So please do that. Please reach out to us, and please share this podcast with your family, with your friends, and with the dog that keeps on chewing up your socks in the middle of the night. Share it with everyone, because the more that you guys share this, the more this information that we could potentially share with you guys can get out. Some of this information that we might cover might be exactly what just one specific individual may need to help them clear their own fog. So I think that's extremely important. I think it's extremely important that everybody has an equal opportunity to get to hear potentially a life-saving message. Not to say that that's what we're absolutely going to deliver, but we hope that we can give you guys some life-changing information at some point.
And in conclusion, I'm sure we can post some links in the aftercast.
Yep.
So there'll be some links probably throughout of a few things.
Yeah, you can go back to any of those social media platforms. You can we'll most likely have links and stuff that he's talking about. And
links to our other social media, to our other YouTube pages.
Yes, after we get done with this, this information will be put on pretty much every major podcasting platform, whether it be Spotify, iTunes, so on. So,
and I think that's really all we have. We'll get the list of guests up, and we'll see you next Friday at 8 a.m.
Yes, We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And we hope very much so to see you on the next Lighthouse Podcast. Bye, guys.